Welcome to Mindfulness Lists. The ego's need to feel superior, and ego and fame are the name of the next two sections. I'm just going to hit two sections because they're fairly short. So, ego. Oh, wow. Well, I don't feel superior. I can't even speak, so that leaves me out of the game. I'll read a little bit about the ego's need to feel superior. If someone has more, knows more, or can do more than I, the ego feels threatened because the feeling of less diminishes its imagined sense of self relative to the other. It may then try to restore itself by somehow diminishing, criticizing, or belittling the value of the other person's possessions, knowledge, or abilities. Or the ego may shift its strategy, and instead of competing with the other person, it will enhance itself by association with that person, or if he or she is important in the eyes of others. Anyways, I botched that at the end. If he or she is important in the eyes of others. You get the picture. I don't have to read it over perfectly again because I don't need to feel superior. Being unsuperior is my ego's game. I just thought it was painful. I enjoy playing games, acting like a child, doing stuff like that. But as a child, I guess maybe it was because I was smaller. Probably if I was a big person, I probably would have really enjoyed, physical stuff. But, I guess that answers that. If you're not, I guess anybody can be a genius or a champion in their own realm. You put some kid that's really smart in a spelling bee, and they're going to tear it up. And if you put some big kid in, some physical activity, they're going to tear it up. So I guess it's just, a natural human condition to want to excel at what we do, of course. As you get older, though, you realize that, either through observation of yourself or others, that there's always going to be somebody better. There's always going to be somebody smarter, and there's always going to be somebody stronger. And usually these people are younger. So it's even a bigger kick to the head for the ego when that stuff happens. It's kind of a relief though. When you lose the need to feel superior, then there's no competition going on, and you just realize it's just natural. Yeah, there's maybe one thing that you're really good at, but we're all different and we all have different abilities. But it's strange. You need to be aware of that. You definitely need to be aware of it. What Eckhart Tolle, what he explains is sometimes people just through gossiping, they'll gossip. And when you gossip, there's two probably messed up things about gossiping. Usually people, talk crap behind other people's backs. Gossiping is the way that I picture gossiping. Oh my God, did you hear what he said? Blah, 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 blah. What are Brad and whatever his wife's doing, stuff that you see at the grocery store written on the tabloids. Bunch of gossip stuff, arbitrary information. So sometimes it's talking behind people's backs. And the other function of it is when you gossip is something that somebody else doesn't know. So your ego thinks that you've got, you're smarter than the rest of the world since this little piece of gossip that something that the neighbors did that your other neighbor doesn't know about. Oh my God, did you hear what they did this weekend? They went to an Illuminati meeting. I don't know. It seems so much easier just to let go. And it doesn't mean that we don't try, but just to let go of feeling superior. It's to me, it's more of a struggle to have to keep up with other people than it is just to say, you know what, I'm this dude and take it or leave it. I am as I am, you know. I'd say I'm not under average and I'm not above average. I'd say I'm definitely average, and I'm cool with that, because I'd say that's where most of the world is, just average people, you know. And the ones that are out there that are doing incredible things, bless them. Please give them strength, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be looking at this iPad right now. I wouldn't be speaking into this microphone right now, because if it was up to me, it'd probably be another 100,000 years before I made an iPad or this microphone. So bless those people. Thank you for smart people. And thank you for all the incredible musicians out there. You know, all the geniuses, Ray Charles, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley, all those people that added to our lives, and all those incredibly strong athletes out there. I just think it would be really hard. Like when I think, like you look at these incredible people, and some of them, like I used to work in the radio industry, and I got to meet a lot of famous people. That was probably the great thing about it, because I was making minimum wage and working and getting to meet all these rock stars. I went to all the concerts for free for about 6 years. It was pretty sweet. But most of the really cool people were the ones that were just normal, and most of them were normal. There was just a couple that were a little egotistical. There was just like, I can only think of one who was really kind of out there, and that was Courtney Love. And I do really like her music. I love the band Hole, and I think she's awesome. I think she's actually better than Kurt Cobain. I think she's a lot harder than Kurt Cobain. But I imagine when you get to that point, when you are seriously proficient at something, whether it's music or a scientist or a lawyer or a doctor. I imagine it's probably less in lawyers and doctors, because it's not that, you know, it's not that glorified. Maybe if you're way up there. But I imagine if you were like if you're an Olympian, once you get to that point, like an Olympian, or maybe like Michael Jackson, somebody like that, once you get to that point, what else is there? And if you really didn't know that there was something else besides that wasn't you know, the king of pop or whatever, the women's long jump champion of the world, that would seem like that was it. You know, you'd compete in the Olympics, you would get that gold medal, and nothing else could ever compare to that, because it's such a high achievement. That must be tough. I don't ever have to worry about doing something like that. Thanks. That's awesome. It's like, it's kind of nice just being average. You don't have to worry about that type of stress. You got, say you produce 10 platinum albums or whatever, and everybody's waiting for your next platinum album, man. That'd be some pressure. Don't get me wrong. I still want to be famous and rich, but I will know that I am the awareness of the fame and all that dollars. Holla. Ego and fame. I'll read a little bit and just silence my lips, control my lips, I guess. The well-known phenomenon of name dropping, the casual mention of who you know, as part of the ego strategy of gaining a superior identity in the eyes of others, and therefore in its own eyes through association with someone important. The bane of being famous in this world is that who you are becomes totally obscured by a collective mental image. Yeah, I think it really is like that, because as I was saying about working at the radio station, I met some famous people. Probably two of the coolest people that I met, and here I am doing name dropping right now. I won't even say it. I won't even say the names, because because they're just regular people like you and I. And these two people, they were really cool. This dude was just a huge artist, and he was so, I went up to him, and I was a little bit, since I had met a lot of people, I really didn't get whatever starstruck. But this guy, for some reason, I felt similar to him. You know, I've been a musician and I've wanted to make it for a long time, and I probably never will, and that's fully fine. But I went up to him thinking that maybe I could give him a demo, and I did give him a demo. Anyways, everybody was so jocking this guy so hard, and I thought about, whatever, when you know you're going to meet somebody, you think about what you're going to say, maybe if you're going on a date, or if you're going to meet the president, or if you're going to meet whatever, the Pope or something. This guy was a huge artist. And I thought about it, and everybody kissed his butt. And then when I got up to the front of the line, I said, "Hey dude, here's my demo CD. Check this out." And I had known him because he used to bring his demo CD. He's from Santa Barbara, and he would bring his demo CD constantly into the radio station, and we never played it for him. So it was like, it was bittersweet. Anyways, he was a really cool dude. He still is a really cool dude. And I don't think that a lot of people know. Well, I imagine nowadays it's just, there's so many famous people, you probably run into them. And when you do run into them, you just realize that they're just regular, just like us. They have all the same problems. They have all the same joys. They have families. And most of them probably have regular lives. I'm sure some, it's really hectic, but most of them, it's probably, they go on tour, do some music, they do a movie, and then it's back to normal life. It's not like, it's not like some dream. I think it was Jim Carrey that said, I wish everybody could be famous, so they would realize that it's not all what it's cracked up to be. And Jim Carrey, he's a big fan of Eckhart Tolle. So I know I go off on tangents, but I just really like talking to you guys about this stuff. Here's what Eckhart Tolle has to say about somebody famous, Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, who was admired as almost superhuman and whose fate it was to become one of the most famous people on the planet, never identified with the image the collective mind had created of him. He remained humble, egoless. In fact, he spoke of a grotesque contradiction between what people consider to be my achievements and abilities and the reality of who I am and what I'm capable of. Incredibly smart guy. And the thing about probably that made him so incredible was he wasn't just smart, but he had common sense. And I think they should change the word common sense to uncommon sense, because they're not, look at intelligence and uncommon sense, and they don't parallel each other. And I guess maybe just some people get blessed with certain attributes. I think it is a good thing, though, to be very practical, and have common sense or uncommon sense. The simple things. Know how to build, know how to maybe grow plants, know how to sew, know how to cook, maybe some animal husbandry. Not that I know anything. I know about building. I'm not that great of a cook. I could cook. But just these simple life skills would be some good stuff. But probably the most important thing that you could ever know is super simple. The most simple thing. Just knowing who you are. That's the most important thing of life, is knowing who you are. Eventually, time is an angel or devil, best friend or be.